Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. Another episode going into news and prophecy. All right, going into the things happening worldwide, linking them to what was foretold by the prophets, all right, of old, who were raised up in various captivities, now are being raised up here in the final captivity, which is Babylon the Great, as well as the various different captivities where we were scattered. All right, as a promise, the Lord would send the Holy Spirit upon a remnant of our people here in the latter days, all right, to give understanding on why what has happened unto us has happened, all right, why what is happening, and what's next. And, ever since we came into this thing, entering into the labors of the elders and apostles and bishops, there's particular things that were being said at the time that they were preaching, all right, that took a little while to come to pass. And now we're living in the times where everything that's written, it's here, all right, including Jacob's trouble, all right, where this demonic Edomite ruled power structure known as the beast in the scriptures, all right, you have the beast system, which is the NATO and the EU, and then you have the whore, which rides the beast. Okay, that whore is Babylon the Great, not the Roman Catholic Church. Babylon the Great is America. Okay, and right now we're living in times where they're doing a lot to go ahead and finalize, all right, their plans for NWO. All right. Now, when you go into the scriptures, as you can see the title of this article on tyrannynews.com, the ruling class has no intention to stop, all right, or to cease terrorizing the populace. And right now, if you look around the world, as I was just watching the beloved brother Bakwara Moff's video, okay, if you look around the world, the beast system, all right, if you look at the majority of these countries that are totally going all balls out using this Crown Royale 19 ordeal as a means to shut down, all right, as a means to go overboard, you see that it's majority of the beast system, the countries that are a part of the beast system, NATO and the EU, who are going all balls out. And now a particular thing that, our apostles and elders were talking about when I first woke up through the Holy Spirit, or was awoken or awakened by the Holy Spirit, is coming to pass. And that is, all right, as you can see at the very end of this heading, these particular centers, okay, there's various other names for them, all right, but if you say those names, YouTube will strike your video. It's basically everything that's happening before you. If you speak on it as an Israelite using prophecy to give understanding to it, they'll cut your page down. All right. Meanwhile, they have particular people like the Hill that they set up to bring out particular arguments, and they have the free will to talk about these things. All right. But as the prophets, we have to do just as our forefathers did. When you read the New Testament, when you read various prophecies, they were coded for the purpose of, they were behind enemies' lines, and we're behind enemies' lines in this time being awakened. But, all right, these camps that were always talked about when I first came in and scoffed and mocked at are now here. Okay, we didn't know exactly how it was going to come to pass, but we know now Crown Royale 2019 is the means they're going to use, and they can't look back. All right. Remember, we did a video going into that climate summit, which Joe Biden was there. All right. The sentiment was we need to ante up. Okay. We need to ante up. We need to hurry up. We need to militarize a plan okay, to bring forth what we're trying to bring forth in so many words, okay? And that's what we saw on camera. Off camera, we know they go even deeper and are more bold and blatant with what they're trying to do. But right now we're living in a times, all right, where these sinners where people, all right, who test plus, okay, for this will be ultimately taken, all right, and sealed off from the rest of the people. Now imagine, as I was watching that brother's video, he said something that was interesting. Imagine you've got your third and fourth, all right, boost mobile, okay, because you know they're openly telling you, okay, that what they're giving you does not stop, all right, the Crown Royale. But imagine, okay, imagine you get 3, 4, all right, boost mobile phones, all right, and then you happen to test plus, and they come throw your ass in one of those centers. Imagine how crazy you're going to be thinking in your mind of how duped you've been. You've been duped. And that's the reality that's coming to the world. You people are going to be faced with that you've been duped, and that there's a deeper plan behind what's going on now in Europe, you know, because Germany, you know, Australia, you know, I believe Italy, various different European, all right, nations are doing what? Coming with the squeeze, all right, as they hone in on world domination. Now, over here in Babylon the Great, you know, people have the Constitution. People have a little bit more say so. People, you know, are armed. So what's happening over here in Babylon the Great is they're mentally beating you down. All right, you're being weakened mentally. There's a cognitive warfare going on the people here in Babylon the Great. All right. Meanwhile, over in these European nations where people aren't as heavily armed, like Australia. Okay, and it's, you know, the population is, you know, 2 million, 5 million. They're showing you exactly what's coming here eventually, but before they come down with that great raft here in Babylon the Great, there's going to be all sorts of false flags, all sorts of war on the mind, all sorts of scare tactics. All right, so look out for that. Everything that you see happening before you is a war on your mind. Okay, all of these different events, all right, these sacrifices going on the left-hand side, these enchantments are means for them to bring forth a particular order and say enough is enough. It's too out of control. Okay, now there are uproars in Europe behind how far they're going and what they're passing. All right, but we're living in a time where they're now talking about throwing you, okay, and we'll click on this in just a minute, throwing you in a particular, all right, what they call a quarantine facility. And we know what that is. Inside the world's first quarantine for unactivated. Now, in times past, remember, people laughed at that. All right. People, you know, thought that, you know, talking like this, you were a seat theorist or crazy, or you were just, you know, trying to scare people. But now the words of the prophets are coming to pass. As a matter of fact, let's get that in the book of, let's see, Ezekiel 33:2, Son of Man, which Ezekiel represents the prophets. That's why he went to the valley of dry bones, which is symbolic of America, and prophesied unto the bones, which is what we're doing. Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, and who's the sword in this time? Okay, Esau, Edom. If the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and take not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. Now that's what the scripture fleeing Babylon is ultimately talking about. Okay, repentant, taking heed to the trumpet that is being blown by the servants, the prophets, because these things are starting to come to pass. All right, as when you go to the very last verse in this chapter, okay, Ezekiel 33 and 33, and when this cometh to pass, because the trumpet is being blown to warn you of the very things that are happening right now. At the end, it shall speak as our beloved forefather, okay, our ancestor Habakkuk said, okay, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, okay, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them, and the Lord has raised up prophets in these times, all right. And what have we been prophesying unto you? All right, that a Nimrod type takeover of the world, all right, which Nimrod was a tyrant, okay, is coming in this time as they go to establish what's on their dollar, all right. God, as what does it say? It's Annuit Conneptus or some shit like that, and then it says, you know, Novus Seclorum, all right, Ovis Norris Seclorum, something of that effect, which ultimately means what? As a matter of fact, I have to look it up. Okay, they everything that they're doing, they put it before you in the form of a cartoon. It's on the money in the form of a movie. Okay, and even right now, if you check out the people who, you know, are at the forefront of all of this, they're telling you openly what they're gonna do. For years, this guy Gates of Hell, okay, has ultimately stood before you telling you that there needed to be a control of the populace. Okay, so we're now seeing them put those plans into place. Now, real quick, let me go to the let me see something real quick just to so I can show you what I mean. Okay. Yep, Novus Ordo Seclorum. Now, what do they say here? It's a sea theory, as if what we see on there and what's really happening is just a theory. And you see here, you know, Novus Ordo Seclorum, Annuit, all right, Conceptus, I believe. Okay, and there's various others. There's various other things on this dollar that is ultimately telling you of their plan. All right, because they use this money, all right, for means of enchanting, you know, weakening the people's minds. Basically, God has, all right, God is with our plan of a Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the world. That's directly on your dollar bill. Okay, then you have the all-seeing eye. Okay, this is why the scriptures say, how thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer. Okay, and Lucifer is not speaking of the spiritual demon Satan. Okay, that's speaking of the elite of this world who are at the forefront of bringing forth this NWO. Okay, all right, the 666. Okay, which if you look up lowercase b's, okay, what are they talking about? Building back better. All right, lowercase b's is what I mean, and you know, everything they do is to undermine you, and it's a war on your mind. It's an enchantment. It's a 6. All right, so and now we're living in a time where their plans are being openly outed. Okay, so everything's a theory, and now they're ultimately, as we I was looking at this article here as well. Let me just read the title. Okay, if you can just, anyone who utters disinformation about this or particular things are criminals. All right, and as things worsen and more propaganda and left-hand enchantments come, they're going to be able to pass these unrighteous decrees that they already have prescribed to make people who are against, who have a difference of opinion in what they're doing, who are against what they're doing, make you a damn terrorist, man. So this could very well be that dark winter that they constantly spewed out, all right? Because there's a lot of left-hand fulfilled prophecies that are going on, through them. They're basically telling you what they're going to do openly. Okay, you have these what they call Freudian slips, I believe, where you think, oh, they're just making a slip up in what they're saying, but they're telling you exactly what they're going to do next. You'll take it as a joke or as maybe they just slipped, but no, that's a part of their war on your mind. But anyway, going to this article, the ruling class has no intention to cease terrorizing the populace. All right, it says it is time to stop mincing words. It ends when they say it does, and we have said that from the very beginning. All right, they don't want an end, all right, to the Crown Royale 2019. They're going to just use that as a means to go further and further and further. Okay, the United States government is all right, because here it is, you can go onto the news and everybody's a terrorist in their eyes, right? They're looking for everyone's against them. Everyone needs to be watched. This organization needs to be watched. This person is a threat to us. But the real threat is ultimately the Edomite power structure, the beast system, along with Babylon the Great. Okay? And they have no intention on stopping the complete and total enslavement of humanity. And that's what we've been telling you. Okay? Everything that John the Revelator saw is happening right before our eyes. But yet, even still in Israel, to try to even link what's happening to what he saw and what's written in the prophets, you're crazy. Okay? So they try to save face by these little stupid debates. All right, bringing out news that grabs at Jake's flesh and emotions and, celebrity gossip and all of that. But the true prophet should be going into exactly what John the Revelator saw. Okay? It says there is an obvious power grab here, and they have no intention of stopping until your resistance is futile. Now, Revelation 13 and 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This is speaking of America, Babylon the Great, the revival of Rome. Okay, and he had two horns like a lamb. They're Democrat and Republic, all right, witchcraft that has you divided, all right, and that gives you a false sense of freedom or a false sense of a leader that actually cares about you. But when it's all said and done, your rights are getting ready to be absolutely stripped from you. God-given rights. All right, the Constitution, they don't give a damn about that no more. Okay, you don't have freedom of speech. You don't have a right to bear. You don't have anything. And when it's all said and done, once they get through with the enchantments and the rest of the, war on your mind, the mass majority of people are going to accept of the agenda. They're going to be on their knees crying for their agenda. Okay? So he had two little horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right? Now that dragon is draconian measures. Okay? All we have to do is just go and type in draconian laws. We don't have to go into the, but let's just go to news. All right? New campaign aims to reforms New York's racist draconian measures. All right, water Canon chaos as Belgium becomes new latest country to erupt at draconian EU. See that? Now, let's check this out. All right, loaded by GMS dedication Ba. All right, subscribe. This just might be the dark winter E spoke about. All right, now this is in Germany. All right, of the beast system. Hold up. Probably by the end of this winter, read it. As is sometimes clinically said, pretty much everyone in Germany will be juiced, cured, or dead. What does he mean? What are you talking about?
Shalom, all praises, honor, glory, go to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua Bashem. Chakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, peace and blessings to you, fellow brothers, pushing out this word and truth is a serious brother Chanak. Just really quick, just a real quick video, impromptu. This is from RT, okay? And this is a German health minister. Of course, he's speaking in German, okay? But look what he says. The title even says it all. Okay, Germans will be vaccinated, cured, or dead by winter's end. Okay, this might just be that dark winter that Esau Edom is speaking about, and we know, what that dark winter means. You should already know. Okay, this might just be, when Esau just makes that move. He's already made it compulsory for all citizens in Austria, and talks of the German government doing the same thing. So, hey, it's going to be real nasty. It's going to get real nasty. Like I said, this might just be that dark winter. Look what he said. He said by the end of this winter, okay, by winter's end, either the German citizens will be vaccinated, okay, cured, whatever the hell that means. What does cured mean? Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. All right. I could go in on that, but what do you mean? How? When the science is openly telling you this thing isn't doing that. So E's all over the place, man. Here we're reading about America, all right, because those measures that you see happening all in these European countries are coming here, right? In these European countries, as you read about Belgium, Germany, Australia, these are all countries that are part of the beast system. But they're coming down hard on the people. And what is it leading to? Uproars. This is off the brother Bernard Hodges page.
Latest European city to see unrest over tightened coronavirus restrictions. Tens of thousands of people marched in protest, some threw fireworks at police officers who intervened with tear gas and water cannon. Belgium has just brought in new measures in the face of a sharp rise in infections. The protesters are mainly opposed to the use of COVID passes, which ban the unvaccinated from entering bars and restaurants. Protests have also taken place in Austria, Italy and Croatia. And in the Netherlands, there is now a third night of unrest.
These are all beast system. All right? They are all of these countries that she just listed are a part of the beast. So that's letting you know that these sort of measures are going to only spread. All right? And the one that we're talking about here as well is these centers. What are these centers? You know exactly what those centers are. Okay? Those centers are ultimate sea camps.
Our Europe correspondent Anna Holligan has this report from The Hague. Another day of unrest, unsettling another European capital. This is Brussels tonight. What began as an organised peaceful march quickly turned nasty. Some protesters threw fireworks at police, others targeted their vehicles. Officers intervened with tear gas
and the people are in an uproar, which is a clear indication of the end, because what? The measures, the draconian measures. So you just wait till you American people get hit in the face with these draconian measures as they use these propagandas and various different things to wear you down. They're wearing you down. All of these events that are just popping up, okay? And a lot of them are staged. Ultimately, they're wearing down your mind and preparing you for a new order. Okay? While you'll be on the metaverse. Okay? They're going to hijack reality. Okay? And if you don't get down with the get down, you know what's going to happen. Okay? So we're at any moment in these coming months as this dark winter hits, all right, can some sort of, fault, something happen to where they can go full blown and start bringing these measures here. And they're already starting to bring them here, but it's very, very gradual.
water cannon. Belgium has just brought in new rules in response to a sharp rise in infections. Demonstrators are mainly angry about the use of COVID passes, which stops the unvaccinated from entering venues such as restaurants or bars. Some object to plans to make vaccinations mandatory for health.
So they're cutting off what you can have, or what you can do, what you can buy, what you can sell by this particular pass. Okay. Also in Israel, they got that thing going on, man, which is ultimately what John the Revelator saw. Okay. And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. He exercised all the power of the first beast before him, ancient Rome. Okay. And caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Whose deadly wound was healed is the Roman Empire at the time of the Renaissance. That brought back the Western Roman Edomite power structure, way of thinking, art, science, theory, way of rulership, government. All of that started to be implemented back into the earth. Notable families of that Renaissance: the Medici family, the Borgias, okay, which ultimately were a bunch of damn criminals. Okay. So this was the start of their little season from the Renaissance period up till now. That's all you Edomites got to ultimately fulfill your blessing that Isaac gave to you. Okay. And as you read down, I'm going to just jump to 15. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Okay. Because you have Rome, but then you also had the vassals of Rome, which are back today. When you look at the European Union map, it's the same territory as the ancient Roman Empire. So you're literally bowing to ancient Rome, all right, but in a greater sense, because now you have Babylon the Great, okay, NATO, EU, and many other countries that they have under their grip, all right, but they're all divided. And the Lord has a lot going on, all right, to ultimately weaken this beast, all right? But it says that the image of the beast should both speak via the government, the ways of, the holidays, the Senate, okay, the Olympics. The image of the beast is living. We'll always go through that. If you need further edification, ask. We'll send you the video. It says, and as cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you don't worship the image, if you're not down, you're going to be killed. Now, as we always show you, that word killed, we'll just go to it real quick, is deeper than just, because, yeah, they're going to pass laws to physically put you to death. But right now, apoptino, all right. Let's see. It says to deprive of spiritual life, inflict, extinguish, abolish, perish, let's go to the root word of separation, of local separation, okay? Of any kind of separation of one thing from another, which the union or fellowship of the two is destroyed. So they're basically saying if you don't have this card, if you don't bow to what we're doing, you will be separated. You will be separated from the system. Okay, so you see those laws being passed here where they're being forced to bow fully to the image of the beast in order to live, and they're being separated. So what? What are they doing? They're uproars. What does that sign say? My my temple, my choice, right? So people are bucking up. So what are you Americans gonna do as things get, because Jake don't know what the hell is going on. Now you do have particular people over here who are marching against particular things, but right now the Lord has a spirit to where the court is saying, well, no, you can't do this because what? The Constitution. See? So what they're gonna do is ultimately, as time goes, they're gonna ultimately have things happen to where they're gonna be justified in saying, to hell with the Constitution. Science is now going to be the law. And that's what Biden said when he got in office. Less politics and more science.
Workers.
We know that the virus is there, but we leave it to people to decide whether or not to be vaccinated.
I came to give my opinion about freedom of expression and individual choice, and really to be able to respect everyone's choices.
The Netherlands witnessed the most extreme violence this weekend. Rotterdam was rocked by...
It should be interesting unto you that mostly European Union beast, all right, the beast system nations are forwarding this BS. That's a clear indicator of what's coming to America, because the whore rides the beast. Although they're separated, all right, on particular ideas, economically, politically, they do know that, look, we got to get this NWO established, okay?
Rioters. Police opened fire, shooting at the crowd with live rounds in response to what they described as a life-threatening situation. Vandals torched bicycles in The Hague. The Justice Minister believes organized criminals may be behind this.
Organized criminals, all right, which are ultimately what they're going to do is they have particular plants that go to these, uproars, or what would we call them, protest, and they'll start doing, some violent terroristic acts to where they're able to start blaming you, this, that, and if you were there, you can be subject to detainment. So a lot of wicked propaganda is coming down the pipe. Now, we know in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, let's get that real quick. It tells you that the uproars of the people would be one of the things to look out for, okay? So let's just get that real quick, all right? Because these prophecies being fulfilled gives glory and praise to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. 2nd Esdras 9, okay, and 1. And he answered me and said, measure thou the times diligently. And that's what we're doing. That's why we constantly go into prophecies, because we're measuring up the times to add up what's written, to give us comfort. Because without comfort, without understanding that the Lord is going to stop them, you'll lose your mind and bow, okay? Because they're going to play on your flesh. That's what they're doing. They're wearing down the people of Babylon mentally for a particular purpose. That's why you see all of these constant events. And there's a war on your mind. In particular, you Israelites, starting with Judah, there's a war on your mind to keep you from being rooted, okay? Because when you're not rooted, they can then force you through temptation to submit, all right? And that's the last thing that we're going to do, man. It says, measure thou the time diligent within itself. And when you see us part of the signs which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, All right. When there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou very well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And the end is manifest via Esau, because Esau is the end of the world. And what did Habakkuk, the second chapter, warn us of? All right. Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry, and lo, it will. Okay, and lo, it will. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So this devil is getting ready to come with some very unjust, wicked practices. Okay, he's going to be telling you exactly what he's going to do next. All right, then he's going to demonize you for telling the world that's what he said and this is what he's doing. Okay, he's eventually going to pass laws to get us off the streets sometime next year. Look for these particular laws to come to pass. Now, this dark winter is going to justify a lot that they're going to do going forward, man. Okay, so now's the time to be on the watch and ultimately cling to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai even more. But yeah, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. So meaning he's getting ready to ultimately lose his mind. All right. Also because he transgressed by wine, his philosophy. All right. That deadly wound being healed brought back that wicked philosophy. Now they have more room to play with. Now they have more money. Now they have more control. Now they have their blessing. They have the sword. Okay. It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And that's that NWO. They want all of the nations under their control. Okay, so as this article was saying, all right, the ruling class have no intention to cease. They're going to continue going. And a lot of people think because things are getting a little bit more calm that the devil is going to stop. Well, now, all right, smallpox is being talked about. Okay, let's just look that up real quick. You know? And then whenever you put it in, okay, they'll say it's misinformation. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what they're going to do. Because there's various news outlets. And see, a lot of these things are, ultimately enchantments of them telling you what they're going to do. But then when you go to investigate it, they'll start to say, well, no, that wasn't true. This is that. These are all basically enchantments. This is a war on your mind. Okay, see, this is going to be a big term going forward, the sea theorist. Because ultimately truth is in the earth. So we'll see. All right. We'll see. All right. Because this guy openly told you that the juice ain't really working. He said it. The juice ain't really working. But at the same time, they're saying and changing the meaning of fully juiced. So what in the hell are they doing? It's ultimately a shit show. That's the best way to describe it. Okay? In which ultimately they're just going to start bringing the sword and getting deeper and deeper into those draconian measures, man. But we know that, yes, there is going to be another, all right, something that they bring forth as a means to shut stuff down and to juice people, all right? We'll see. We'll see, all right? It says there's an obvious power grab here, and they have no intention of stopping until your resistance is futile, all right? As Eric July says, some of you guys work for a terrorist organization, all right? I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. but it is time to simply be aware of it. And that's where we are. All right. You have to, all right, accept the truth that the powers that be are evil, wicked, and they have a plan. Okay. It says, the government is slavery. It can bring nothing more or nothing less. We are forced to comply, or we are punished for our disobedience by those hired specifically for that purpose. The fruits of your labor are stolen from you in any amount your master seems fit. There more taxes, all sorts of things. Okay, the FBI is being given more permission. All right, to go into your business and basically make your life a living hell, man. It says, and yet they keep telling you that we are free. And people are still under that dumb vibration that we're free. As the scriptures say, they're not going to be mindful of the scourges that are happening. Okay? Is that in 2nd Esdras 16? Yep. Let's see, 2nd Esdras 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, and the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scores for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of their scourges. People still think they're free because they can get on social media, or because they can go out to a club, or, and go get, 8 tacos at 2 a.m. People really think they're free. They're not looking at what's really happening around them. Why? Because they don't have the spirit. This is why the spirit is very important. You can clearly see that this whole freedom, the American dream, it's a damn farce. It's a nightmare. It says, as long as we accept that some other humans have the right to rule over us and accept particular master, if he puts the right letter behind it, we will be treated as such. If you give in, you will see that it never stops. And that's the people who are gonna, as it says in this chapter as well, derision. Let's get that. Yep. 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and 69. As a matter of fact, I'll start here. 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle. Now, where are you going to be idle at? With things offered unto idols. Where are you going to be at idle? Okay, you're going to be in one of these things. Okay, hold up. See that? That's what's coming. See that? So imagine those of you who consented, okay, and the only things you're going to be fed are things offered and evil and wicked and bugs and all sorts of things, man. Because, they have a plan to take away real food off the table, all right, and give you their version of new food going into this NWO. But anyway, it says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. So those of you who consented are in for a rude awakening, because you thought that making a covenant with this place would keep you from the overflowing scourge, when actually it's going to do the opposite. You're going to lose. Give me 1 second here. You're going to lose. Like the brother said, here it is. You got 8 Boost Mobiles. Okay. And then, like they're telling you, you can still, plus, you can test plus for the Crown Royale. And then they come grab you up, or they, the contact tracing, say, well, you were around this person at this time. You were in this building at this time. You got to come here. We got to take your child. They're going to be separating families. So it's getting ready to go down. And the people who rebelled against the Heavenly Father, you're going to be had in derision. Not to say that those of us who are standing firm ain't going to go through stuff. All right. But remember, the scourges and the plagues and all of that are for the wicked. Okay. Hey, the Lord said to those who are upright, have mercy on them. But to those who go aside in their crooked ways, He's going to lead you forth with the workers of iniquity. Which the man of sin is that worker of iniquity, the wicked. Okay, so we're speaking victory over all of these things, man. Because miracles and for those who are truly invested in His word, man, there's miracles coming for you. It's written. But those that consent and thought that they were all good, you're going to be had in derision. As a matter of fact, Isaiah, the 31st chapter. Isaiah 31:3. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. So you who thought that this was God and that the Egyptians, which the modern day Egyptians are the Edomites, you thought that this system, all right, bowing to this system would ultimately get you the comfort you wanted. You're going to find out that the devil ain't going to stop. And that's what this article says. Okay, it says, if you give in, you will see that it never stops. Okay, now he's of the opinion, it stops when we stop. All right, when those taxed with forcing compliance stop and refuse to commit, yada, yada, yada. It says you pledged your alliance to the state and got nothing out of it. And that's what the mass majority of you people are getting ready to figure out. As they keep saying you'll have nothing and be happy. You're going to find out that your pledge of allegiance to this system got you nowhere. Okay, especially Jake. Because you all are still under some, bugged out, idea that you're okay. As we were reading, it says, yeah, and they, let's read it again. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. And as we read earlier in the chapter, people ain't mindful of the scourges. They're not mindful of what's happening around them. All right. Because what? Wisdom and knowledge is not the stability of their time. Or ultimately, the Lord has a dark covering over their mind. He don't want you to know. Because here it is. You got all of these Edomites, all right, pissed off about this stuff. Okay? Because, the thing about Esau is they have a rulership mentality. So after a while of them not being able to do things or being told that, hey, they'll fight back. All right? While Jake is just looking for a way to bow, man. So the Lord got a spirit on these Edomites to, fight against these measures. The beast system is going forward with their plans. All we're looking for now is that charagma to be talked about more and more, which it is being talked about, but it's, underhanded. Because where Esau is in prophecy is he has to figure out a way to get around what's written in the scriptures, to detach what he's doing from what's written of him to do. And you can't do that. So what they're doing is they're talking about these charagmas and these things they, want to use, all right, to put inside people. But they're saying, well, it's this, it's that, or this or that. Ultimately, it's what's written of in the Holy Scriptures, the MO, all right, and then the TB, all right. And if you don't know, you better figure it out. All right, but you can keep reading this article. Let's look at a little bit of this video.
So I want to show you this. Okay, this is a video where you have the U.S. Surgeon General Murthy, who you're gonna listen to this, and I just really want you to pay attention to the rhetoric and also what this person is saying going into the future, and also considering we're nearing 2 years, man, of dealing with this bullcrap.
Do you think that they should be able to take their masks off if they're in a classroom?
And this is talking about children.
New York City mayor is considering this. If you're in a classroom where the teacher's vaccinated, the kids are vaccinated, should a bonus be that you can take off a mask?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I certainly think getting vaccinated takes us one step closer to that. What the CDC has said is that in areas that have high or substantial amount of transmission, they want people to still wear masks for the time being. But as cases come down, certainly it will become a possibility for us to take off our masks. So
you can spread it. I don't know what to tell y'all in that this is not gonna end.
I'm gonna just leave it there. All right. So, hey man, things are happening. Okay, things are happening. Prophecy is coming to pass. I'm gonna just let his words be his words. Okay, because on one hand, they're ultimately admitting this doesn't work, and then on the other hand, they're saying, well, we got to keep doing it, and if you don't do it, you know. Now they're going after your children. So this is about to get interesting. Now, let's see here. These things are gonna cause people to eventually go crazy, man. Let's get the book of 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, in the 22nd verse, and it says, "And suddenly the sown places shall appear unsown, full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty." We see that happening. Oh, also, CVS. There's while they're throwing all of these enchantments in front of you, okay, things are happening. CVS is closing 900 stores, and that's only 10% of their stores worldwide. But hey, all right, your access to particular things is being ultimately lessened. All right, what's the scripture say? There shall be no work for Egypt. Okay, let's go back. It says, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid." And the trumpet is ultimately the prophecies coming to pass. The voice of the Lord, all right? The men of the Lord speaking this truth. Let's get that in Isaiah 19. Okay, because now these things are coming to pass. People are still, acting as if it's not really there, but what's coming down the pipe, people are going to be like, oh, shit. All right? This is, I'll start at 14. Isaiah 19 and 14. "Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and have caused Egypt to err in every work. This place is felling thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit." Okay, there's a very wicked, perverse spirit right now, man, especially under those Dems. All right, the Democratic Party, we know, are synonymous with perverseness. All of the Edomite rules, but it's especially those Democrats, man. Okay, we see what Biden and his cabinet are all about. It says, "Neither shall there be any work." In the mindset of your average American is just like, whoa. The stuff people are caring about, and the stuff people are talking about, and how the enchantments really work on these people. There's even particular enchantments we have to, we'll see them, but we got to snap ourselves back together and filter everything through prophecy, because there's so much going on, man. That's why the scriptures say, "If possible, he shall deceive the elect." "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt," all right, "which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Economic collapse. Okay. "In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself." So people, they're hearing about the Israelites preaching. Okay, Jake at some point is going to snap. Okay, and they're going to use these things as a means to, put that terrorist label, man, because ultimately they're afraid of Jake figuring their asses out. That's why all of these enchantments are aimed at the mind of you Israelites, particularly Judah. All right. everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid because of the counsel of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, which ye have determined against it. And what is the counsel that he has determined against Babylon the Great? Destruction. So as these things heighten, all right, what's the other counsel? That the leaders are going to shut it down. All right. You won't have any rights. They're going to make you conform to their image. All of these things are a part of prophecy, and they're coming to pass. So as we're reading here, in the trumpet, 2 Ezra 6:23, shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid. Okay? That message is coming from the prophets. These prophecies are coming to pass. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those therein. The springs of fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. The Lord is going to have this word to be cut off, man. Okay? And whosoever remaineth from all these things that I have told thee shall escape the remnant and see my salvation in the end of your world. The end of whose world? When you go up to verse 9, Esau is the end of the world. Okay? So everything that's happening are signs and indicators that we're at the end. Okay? And tyranny is going to ultimately, like we're saying, it's going to get worse. Okay? It's going to get worse. Let's see here. And you can look at this website, tyranny.news. You got blacklisted news, because if we go into a lot of these articles, man, they ultimately you can now be juiced based on your social scores gathered by newly patented digital surveillance technology. See that? This is where the world is going. And now these things are just being talked about, but this is where they're going with it. Okay? Australia state to seize savings, homes, driver's license of people, all right, with unpaid C-19 fines. Lindsey Graham demanded police shoot unarmed Trump supporters. And they can go a lot of ways with the whole Trump supporter thing. You can have a mindset that you don't even have to follow Trump, but they can link a mindset and a particular ideology you follow to the mindset of a Trump supporter. Okay? Biden threatens businesses with government, all right, juice Gestapo that will go door to door enforcing his mandate. You're being banned on Twitter for misgendering. So tyranny, this site, is pretty good if you want to look at, the Nimrod-like tyrant behavior of this beast system with Babylon the Great, riding it. But we can just read some of these titles, okay? All right. You could just read that one on your own, okay? Kyler Rittenhouse, all right, more enchantments, more, and they're just, everything's a play on the emotions of the people, especially you Israelites. Okay, and with your unguided emotions, you're going to, follow yourself, you're going to follow, all right, yourself off a goddamn mountain, following these damn leaders and all of these lies, man. NIH director calls for Crown Royale conspirators to be brought to justice. See that? Because they're losing the info war. It's clear as day. Now, here it is. They're openly telling you the juice don't really work, but they're formulating plans, all right, to put you, to bring justice, put you, detain you, whatever, if you're telling the people what they're saying. Fighting information disorder. See that? Because they have to now control speech, because the Lord has allowed it to where here in Babylon, there's a set amount of freedoms. You know, the republic. You know, well now they just saying to hell with all of that, man. All right, your freedoms are getting ready to be taken away. And the Lord allowed it that way so that the prophets can be raised up. And we can have that freedom of speech. But now that they're being exposed, they got to get a control on it. Declassified. Protests and rage against lockdowns and mandates all over the world, right? Uproars of the people. Food as a weapon. No turning point yet. Okay? Food shortages. Inside the world's first, all right? You see it? Kamala. Hillary Clinton warns crypto can destabilize nations and undermine the dollar as a reserve currency. Army to begin to force out soldiers who refuse the juice. From Pegasus to Blue Wolf, how Israel's surveillance experiment in Palestine went global. You see that? FDA wants until 2076 to fully release the juice data, right? These people are crazy as hell, man. So the devil is going to be the devil, man. But we're going to keep going, Lord willing. More to come, man. So I believe went into everything. More to come. Shalom.